Alrighty, I'll fire it up here. All right, so welcome everybody. Today, talking about digestion. It's a common theme that's come up lately, and it's relevant a little bit. My digestion sucks today. So I'm going to talk about the common causes as to why digestion kind of goes down the drain, unintended, and also the common solutions. So if you're just joining the live, comment your win. We'll start off with some wins. My win is we got a bunch of wins, but we had a really fun weekend, Case and I, in BC. We were apart for about 2 weeks, so we had a really fun date night together when I flew in, and then shortly after that we had the wedding, which was a blast and a half, and then back home. So all of those are wins. It's nice to be back. Still feeling a bit jet lagged and sluggish from the weekend, but yeah, happy to be back getting into routine and happy to have been there to take part in the festivities. So digestion. This is one we've been hearing from a lot of people recently about. So we're going to go over all things digestion here. I'm not going to go into like the super duper nitty gritty things, but more so let's talk about the common reasons why digestion often gets like kind of crappy, and then the most common solutions, because these are going to be the things that for 99% of you are going to solve your issues. So um, first things first, your digestion usually starts to feel crappy when you're lacking fiber, lacking hydration, lacking adequate sleep, you're overly stressed, and eating a lot of processed foods. So we got 5 things there, and those are 5 things that you can kind of like take inventory of and go through to see what's relevant for you. But the first would be, and a lot of these things, the same reason your digestion might maybe sucks is the simple solution of how to fix it. But we're going to go over a few other things on how to improve it as well. But first things first is fiber. Um, Case and I have noticed a trend where people are just eating a lot less veggies and fruits lately. And this is massively problematic. There's 2 types of fiber, insoluble and soluble. There are foods, and I'm not going to get too far into this, but there are foods that have more insoluble fibers and foods that have more soluble. Generally, they all have both. And you just want to consume a lot of fiber overall. And you're going to get that through veggies and fruits. There's other foods you'll get fiber through as well, but those 2 food groups are massively important and provide a very good balance of soluble and insoluble fiber. Insoluble fiber is this fiber that's going to essentially helps. Hold on, I got to wrap my brain around this for a second. Um, Insoluble fiber is this fiber that helps you move stool and move digestion because your body's not breaking it down as well. So what it does is it helps like keep everything smooth and moving, and so there's it kind of it acts as like a lubricant kind of in the sense that it allows you to not be sluggish. So no more constipation, no more slow digestion. It helps speed things up. Soluble fiber, it is water soluble, and so what it does is it actually bulks up stool. So it's both of them work together. One will help you take all the waste in your body and pack it up nicely, and the other is going to help you transport it out. So we need a lot of both, and you should be eating at least 1 to 2 servings of veggies per meal and 1 to 2 servings of fruits per day. So what classifies as a serving is generally, a plate of veggies, a cup of veggies, a side of veggies. You don't have to get super duper specific with it, but generally speaking, we know what a serving of veggies looks like. If you have a very large salad, you've probably had like 3 servings. If you have a side salad on your plate, you've had 1 serving. If you've had 100 grams of carrots, that's like one serving. So making sure that you get your veggies and your your fruit in every single day is one huge reason why your digestion probably isn't feeling great now and will feel a lot better when you do it. So super important. Make sure you plan it in. Breakfast is probably one of the harder ones to get those veggies in. So my recommendation would be if you do eggs, any sort of eggs in the morning, you can mix veggies in as like making an omelet or scrambled eggs with veggies. You can have veggies just on the side. Or you can double up your portion of veggies for lunch and have fruit in the morning because that tends to be a little bit more natural. But there's many ways to get veggies in the morning. I'll be transparent and say I struggle getting my veggies in the morning. Fruit is no problem for me. I am a pretty much more traditional with my breakfast food options, where I like to have oats with protein, but it's easy to get fruits in there because I throw a bunch of frozen berries in, or bananas, or you can just have fruit on the side, right? So fruits and veggies, super important. Water is the next one. If you are not getting enough fluids in the day, and I'm saying water and fluids interchangeably because milk. There's tons of water that helps create milk. You don't have milk without water, so we can include other sources as our water intake. Herbal teas, anything that's not caffeinated, not alcohol, and not high sugar will count towards your fluid intake. Those three things have varying degrees of diuretic to them, meaning it's going to make you pee. And so if you consume a liter of a high sugar drink, you might only get a couple hundred mils of water out of that because you're going to pee most of it out anyways because of the sugar. So yeah, fluids are super important. Our bodies are like 60% water, and every chemical reaction that happens in the body requires water at some point in its process. So if we don't have enough water, then we can't break food down properly. We can't eliminate waste properly. I think you've all heard my analogy of the transporting logs down a river. If you've got a dry river, then things just kind of get jammed up. They don't move well. But if you have a river that's flowing freely with water, everything transports really quickly. So this goes beyond just digestion. This goes towards your energy and everything, because water, like our blood system, circulatory system, is all water. Blood is primarily made up of water. Our lymphatic system is primarily made up of water. Our digestive system is primarily made up of water. So we need water for all these different components, which means not only is your digestion going to improve, but your energy is going to improve. Your strength in the gym is going to improve. Your fat loss results are going to improve. Because we're providing the body with what it needs to create every chemical reaction to make sure things move quickly and efficiently. The next we have is sleep. If your sleep is crappy, this is one of the hardest ones to change. But we have research that shows that if your sleep is inadequate and you're consistently waking up feeling tired and kind of like not rested, it wreaks havoc on the body. So it absolutely will impair digestion and slow motility. Sleep can be a more challenging one to change, but also because sleep is one that generally people don't know what to do to change it. So when you're trying to look at sleep, have a conversation with Case Ride, but because it's different for each individual, depending on what your challenges with sleep are, whether it's falling asleep, staying asleep, waking up too much through the night, just not waking up rested. Even if you fall asleep easily and you stay asleep easily, you don't wake up rested. All kinds of things, right? So the main kind of starting point for that is stress reduction, which we're going to talk about in a second. Because the main thing that impairs people's sleep is if you're not able to sleep, it's usually because your mind's racing and you can't stop your mind. You're thinking about the events of the day, what you have to do tomorrow. You're reliving things that you said and wondering if you said the right thing, blah, 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 blah. We have all these reasons why when during the day we don't feel as anxious because we have things preoccupying us. When we lay in bed, we can't hear anything but our thoughts. So stress management is a huge one for helping you fall asleep, and it's a huge one for helping you stay asleep. If you have consistently stressful dreams, that is your subconscious manifesting, using that word, but manifesting through your dreams at night. If you're high stressed, your dreams will be high stress. If you can create more like a sense of relaxation and calm, you're going to have more calm dreams, or you might not even remember your dreams because you'll be sleeping sounder. This takes a long time to work on. This is not like an overnight fix. This is something that requires like learning how to manage your stress and to genuinely not feel as stressed as often takes a lot of internal work, and that's something that Case and I can help you with. So shoot us a message if that's something that you're working on and you want some help with. Which kind of leads us into stress. Stress increases your cortisol levels, and cortisol slows down your digestive system and everything. It puts your body closer into like a fight or flight, which shuts down your parasympathetic nervous system to preserve energy and everything for the things that it needs to do, like survival, right? So if your stress is really high, you have more likelihood of having digestive issues, even if your fiber and your water and your sleep are in good spot. High stress can kibosh all of that. And generally, we're talking about like acute stress, yes. So like if you're like you have a deadline, it's Friday, and you have a lot of stress, you might have some digestive issues leading up to that as you like try to manage the stress, getting up to that like end date, and then after that everything's fine, and your system starts to go back to normal. But a huge amount of us in North America, just with how the world has shifted over the last 5 years and culture and society and how we are functioning these days, a lot of us have chronic stress, where we just have this maybe like a 5 out of 10 stress that is consistent every day, day in, day out. It's always there. And that can cause a lot of issues with digestion that take a while to resolve because we have to eliminate that stress stimulus, and then we have to allow our digestive system time to heal and rest. So this is a challenging one, but just a couple pointers on how to manage chronic stress. Personally, I'm a psychology guy, always have been. I worked in mental health for like 8 years. I love that field. And so I do a lot of reading from a lot of like experts on psychology and psychiatry and whatever. And so a huge thing that seems overly simple, but is so important and so overlooked for managing chronic stress is gratitudes and perspective. You know, if we can be grateful more than we can be stressed, you can't be grateful and stressed about the same thing. I mean, you can't. It's just really hard. They're kind of opposite. So the more that you can practice thoughts of gratitude in circumstances of stress, so like let's say finances are stressful, you can be thankful that like even though you're stressed about finances, you still have your house, you still have your car, you can still buy your groceries. It might be harder to do all of those things, but you can still do them, and that's better than a lot of other people, which is kind of the perspective shift as well, is that we can be grateful because we have the perspective of understanding that it can be a lot worse, and thank God it's not worse, because if it was worse, I don't know what I'd do. You know what I mean? So practicing gratitude and perspective can help a ton with bringing that stress down, and just understanding that while things are challenging, they can always be worse, and we should be grateful for what we do have, because any day it could change on us, right? So so there's that, and then the last thing that I was going to bring up, what did I say? I said fiber, for water intake, your stress, your sleep, and what was the fifth thing I said? Case, you remember?
Stress, sleep, water, food.
processed foods. That was it. Um, this one actually, I would say that sleep, alcohol, and processed foods are the three things that are causing my digestive issues today. Of course, at the wedding, we had some drinks. That can take, it's more than just like 24 hours. That can have an effect on your body for a few days. Sleep has been all over the place because, well, for one, I struggle when Casey's not in the same time zone in the same house with me. So my sleep the last few weeks when she was 3 hours behind me was a little bit messed up because I was going to bed a lot later than usual so I could stay up and talk to her before we went to bed, kind of catch up on her day. And then when I got to BC, we had a couple late nights in a row. Casey's dad worked on my teeth on, I got there on Friday. No, what day did I get there? Thursday? Yeah, I got there on Thursday. We had our date night on Friday. Her dad worked on my teeth, but it was after, he's a dentist, after his day wrapped up. So I was in the chair falling asleep with a dental dam in my mouth while he was fixing cavities at like 10 o'clock at night, which felt like 1 a.m. my time. Saturday was a normal day. Sunday we had the wedding, and then Tuesday we flew home. So my sleep is just an absolute mess, and that's been causing issues. But then with travel, I know I mentioned this before I left. One of the things that I was going to do to manage my nutrition while I traveled was allow more flexibility with the 80-20 rule and focus on my protein and my calories. And it was, like I said, it's not absolutely necessary to do that. You can get through travel days eating all of your normal foods. It takes a lot of prep work to do that. And I just didn't want to put that sort of time and attention into it with the time that we had available to us. So I focused more on finding fast food options like Subway, or we found a poke place in the airport, stuff like that to meet my nutritional goals. But it's a lot of processed foods, and processed foods have a terrible effect on your digestion. If you, everybody's heard of leaky gut, and leaky gut can be caused by any of the things that I've just been talking about, but they've also found a big culprit to be processed foods with the additives that are in it, and the preservatives. And so what that essentially means is leaky gut is a condition in which your intestinal tract isn't able to absorb all of the nutrients, and more of it kind of through osmosis just kind of transfers through without actually properly getting like digested into and used into energy or fat or whatever it needs to be used as, right? So when you have that situation, or even foods that can cause that, like I'm not saying I have leaky gut, I don't, or I don't believe that I do, but when you eat processed foods that can cause stuff like that, we know that it can cause havoc on the digestive system. So this is another thing that we've been noticing is a lot of people are getting their protein sources from synthetic proteins rather than animal proteins. And that can work for, you know, every now and then, but primarily we want to get our protein from high quality protein sources like meats, animal proteins, fish, beef, pork, chicken, whatever, right? Because that's the natural form of protein that our body can digest really well. When we have all of these processed foods like frozen pre-packaged chicken burgers, or Subway meats, or if we're focusing too much on protein powders are good, but in excess, they're not good. So too much protein powder, especially the protein snacks, all of those like protein bars, protein drinks, the protein chips, the protein treats, all of those foods are made with concentrate protein, not isolate. They use the cheapest, crappiest form of protein possible to make their product as cheap as possible, so they can still sell you a protein bar at $8 and make $7 off of it, right? So those are good options in a pinch, but they should not be daily go-tos. If you are drinking protein drinks, don't get the pre-made ones. Make it yourself. You're going to save money, and you're going to have better digestion. But those synthetic proteins and non-meat proteins are often incomplete proteins, meaning they don't have the full amino acid profile which your body needs to utilize that protein properly. Now we have like amino acids stored in our body that can complete proteins that we consume that are incomplete. But if it becomes too regular, then we have digestive issues because we don't have enough complete protein going through our body where our body can metabolize and digest it well. Plus, most importantly, like I was saying, all of the preservatives and additives and synthetic components that are added into these like fast food or processed food options just create crappy digestion. So this is where we come right back to the 80-20 method. If you're eating 80-20 method, truly eating the 80-20 method, that means you're also getting your veggies, your your veggies, your fruit, and your fiber overall in. And your digestion is going to get much, much better. So those are like the 5 main causes and also the 5 main solutions. I know this slide is getting a little bit longer at 20 minutes here, so I'll just add this in. There are supplements that you can take to help. These do not replace your veggies and fruits. They do not replace animal proteins. They don't replace your they don't replace any of the things that we've already talked about, but they can be there to support on top of things. So one would be fiber gummies. If you just need fiber intake and you're not dealing with like constipation, stuff like that, you can get like a psyllium husk supplement. It's just like a pill that you can take that's like fiber derived from natural sources. If you are acutely experiencing like constipation, that sort of thing, then the Fiber One gummies are really, really good for that. You can take, and these two are something that everybody can take. You don't have to. You can take these, and they will help, which would be a probiotic. Probiotics, there's a billion of them out there. Honestly, many of them are very, very similar. So don't get like sucked into these like super probiotic brands because they often just add a different type of probiotic in that isn't as commonly used. It has a benefit and has some slightly different benefits, but it's usually not as dramatic as what they promote, and they do that, excuse me, as a marketing tactic to make more money. So I would recommend, if you have a Costco membership or a friend that has one, just getting the Kirkland brand probiotics. Probiotics are usually a little bit more expensive, but the Kirkland brand, you get a good bang for your buck. The other brand that we really like is Now Nutrition, and you can get that on iHerb or Amazon. The other supplement that you can take that would always be beneficial would be a super enzyme, or not a super enzyme, a digestive enzyme. We get the Now brand super enzymes, which, again, same thing, good bang for your buck, and they work really well. But there are other digestive enzymes you can get. If you were to take the probiotic and the super enzyme, you can take them both together. And if you're to take the 5, like a psyllium husk thing, add one in at a time and see how your body does. Because any one of these can start to cause like diarrhea if it ends up that you have too much of the wrong type of fiber or end up getting too much fiber in general. It can cause diarrhea. Super enzymes, it is a side effect that some people experience, not commonly. It can happen, and same with probiotics. So add one in at a time for a week, see how your body adjusts, then add in the next one, and keep us informed. If you're going to start these, let us know so that we can put it in our charts, and that way we can understand what's happening with you digestively and be able to problem solve things. If you're taking them and you do have digestive issues, like you start to bowel movements are getting too loose or something, talk to us for sure. But what we're going to recommend is dropping one at a time, and we'll tell you which order to do that in. So yeah, that's just my little cautionary asterisk to the supplements. But that's it. So quick recap. Get enough fiber in. Eat your 2 servings of veggies per plate. You want a total of 6 servings of veggies a day. 1 to 2 servings of fruit per day. I would say get 2. You want to get your 3 to 4 liters of water in every day. get your sleep up and talk to Casey or I if you have trouble with that. Best place to start is stress management. So create a bedtime routine that you can help, eliminate known causes of poor sleep, blue screens, social media, any sort of stressful stimulus. So do things that help your mind relax. Go for a walk before you go to bed. Do some meditation, do a puzzle, draw, whatever it is for you that helps calm your mind. And keep your room nice and dark, nice and cool. That's going to help with sleep. Stress management is the fourth one. That one's super important. So same thing, is just starting to create more intentional practices around managing the stress. Case and I have a million different strategies for that based on like if it's acute stress, workplace stress, if it's home stress, relationships, through all of that sort of stuff. We have a wealth of experience and knowledge, so we can help you with that. So stress management is huge. And then food quality. Get on the 80-20 method and reevaluate. Go look through your logs. If your digestion's crappy right now, look through your logs and calculate yourself. Like actually do the math. Are you actually eating only 20% of your calories as like the fun processed stuff, or is it much higher? If you're not sure about like which items exactly are possibly problematic, take a screenshot and send it to Case or I, and we'll help you. We'll look through it and go, oh, swap this for this. Definitely eat less of this. We can help you with that, right? So those are your 5 things, and that's it. So if you're watching on replay, drop your win and your biggest takeaway from the live today. If you have any questions about any of this, throw it in the WhatsApp group so that everybody can learn from it. And if it's a sensitive question, send it directly to Case or I. All right. Love you guys. Have a wonderful Wednesday, and we'll talk to you soon.